Всем привет! Today I want to make the second part of Russian female names which were popular in ancient Russia or in Russian Empire, and nowadays they are quite rare, but you can meet girls and women with these names, but that's quite an unusual thing, or they can be more typical for old grannies. So let's begin. By the way, I wanted to tell, maybe you know that we call Russian grannies babushka, and babushka is how to pronounce it in the correct way, because I heard quite often babushka. That's not correct. You should say babushka. So the first name, which is very well associate. God, I can't pronounce it. Which is associated very well with babushkas, is Marfa. Marfa is Russian version of name Marta, and we have name Marta in Russia too, but it's not common, it's not typical for Russia, it's more like a Western name, and Marfa is quite common for a girl from Russian village in Russian Empire, for example. The soft versions of name Marfa, for example, Marfusha, maybe Marfusia. I met only one girl of my age with this name, and this even seemed a bit strange because nowadays this name is very unpopular and very rare. You mostly can find this name in books which were written in the times of Russian Empire, and mostly, yeah, if there will be a girl, a simple village girl, her name really can be Marfa. The next name is Agafia. I guess Agafia is Russian version of name Agatha, and also this name is very, very typical for, not typical for grandmas, but again, it's associated very well, sorry, with babushka, and we even have cosmetics, and it is called the recipes of babushka Agafia. So their mascot is babushka Agafia. She lives in Siberia. She picks up berries and herbs which grow up there in Siberia. She uses her old traditional recipes to cook the cosmetics, shampoos and all that stuff. And this factory, they use her recipe. Of course, that's not the truth. She doesn't exist, this babushka Agafia, but this cosmetic is quite common, and that I think this name Agafia now is very well associated with this babushka from cosmetic brand. The next name, I guess, doesn't exist in Russia nowadays, or almost doesn't exist. This name is Matryona. If you know Russian traditional toy, which is called matryoshka, matryoshka came from name Matryona, so it's like a soft version. And again, you can meet this name in books of Russian Empire. And this name is also typical for village girls, village women. Also, there was a word in ancient Russian, or not ancient but old Russian language, Matrona. Matrona means a very respectful woman. Nowadays we don't use this word, but we have, so in Russian language, Matrona, which is respectful woman, Matryona, which is old Russian woman's name, and matryoshka is a toy. By the way, Russians don't play matryoshkas. I seen matryoshka only once in Russian house. That was my great grandparents' house, and it stood there like a decoration of the room. So I can only see matryoshka in souvenir shops for foreigners, and that's it. Maybe in ancient times kids played with matryoshkas, but nowadays they don't do this. And in matryoshkas, I always love the smallest one, and I always wanted just to took it, and that's it. I don't need all the others. So just maybe if you didn't know, we don't have matryoshkas and we don't play them, and I think they still exist, and Russians remember about matryoshka only because it's very popular and very common Russian souvenir and some, again, mascot of Russia. That's the only thing. We don't meet matryoshkas in our usual everyday life at all. The next name is Aglaya. I think I can't say anything else about these names. I think it's not so bad. Maybe I even mentioned this name before. To tell you the truth, I don't remember. But I find that this name is not so bad. And maybe the short version is Agafia, but I think that sounds terrible, and I would just prefer to say Aglaya. The next name is Glafira. Nowadays it can be trendy, like ancient Russian names, which are trendy now, but still it's not very popular. I think that the short version can be Glasha, but again, that sounds terrible, and I would just say Glafira. I think Glafira sounds even not so bad, even in some way interesting and unusual and original. Next name is Agrippina. I think this name is unpopular now because in Russian language, grip, I pronounce it like in English language, grip means flu, and that's why Agrippina associated with illness. I guess that's why it's not popular, but before, in Russian Empire, you could meet a woman with this name. The next name is Akulina. Akulina, again, like with Agrippina, I don't know, to tell you the truth, I didn't read the origin of this name, but in Russian language, akula means shark, and that's why this name sounds strange, because this sounds like, I don't know, shark girl or something like this. Maybe that's why now it's not popular any longer. Next name is Yevdokia. I think nowadays it becomes trendy again. I know some young girls named Yevdokia. I know one girl of my age named Yevdokia. And the short version is usually Dunya. I don't remember. It seems to me that maybe I mentioned this name before, but to tell you the truth, I'm not sure. So I just say again about it. One more name is Avdotia. And the short variant is Dusia. I don't know why. I don't know why Yevdokia is Dunya and Avdotia is Dusia. Also, nowadays, this name is almost out of use. One more name is Praskovia, very typical as ancient Russian name. The short version is again terrible. It can be Parasha. In Russian, Parasha means garbage nowadays. Maybe that's why this name is unpopular now. One more name is Yefrosinya, also very associated with grannies, and maybe that's why not popular. The short version is Frosia. Frosia is a quite common name for piggies. Maybe that's why too. One more name is Evlampia. And the short variant, I heard Lampa. Lampa means lamp in Russian, and I guess, again, that's why people don't call their daughters like this. One more name is Pelageya. I think Pelageya is quite nice and beautiful name. Nowadays, it's not really popular. The short variant of Pelageya is Polia. So the modern version of name Pelageya is Polina. I know that this name exists in Western countries too. And Polina and Pelageya, they both have short version Polia. One more name is Fevronia. I never heard this name in real life. It's from one Russian fairy tale or legend, I don't know how to say. So I don't know the short version and don't know if there are women in Russia with this name, but it's also quite typical for as an ancient Russian name. One more name is Fekla. This name is also quite unpopular now. I don't like it because it's associated very well with the svekla, and svekla is red beet or boot, red beet, I guess. One more name is Pulcheria. I met it just once in the book, but I know that this name at least existed in the Russian Empire. But nowadays no one will name their daughter like this because, how to say it, the 5, the 6, and the 7 letters, if we take the 3 of them letters, that will mean, how to say it, man's dick in Russian language. And I think this girl, her life in school will be quite hard, I guess super hard. Yeah. So that's why. These were the ancient Russian names which I remembered. If you liked some name, you can write in the comments. It will be interesting for me to read. So thank you for watching, and пока-пока.